So today I want to speak to the part of me that still feels overwhelmed by comparison, by comparing itself to where she's at and where other people are at. One of the trainings that I received on when I got initially when I got into digital marketing was do not compare your first chapter to someone else's 20th chapter or something along those lines. And that's so true. And I would add to that, not only it's a different chapter, it's a completely different story. It's a completely different book altogether. Because what happens when you start comparing yourself, you're just starting your business, let's say. And you want to be somewhere you're not. And you're seeing other people doing other things where they are farther along the lines. And honestly, that is not even real. That is not even true that anybody is farther along any lines because there are really no lines. So in the quantum field, there's no linearity. You can jump from one frame to the other and you create your own illusion of linearity of past, present, and future. So this is the way I help myself dissolve the resistance or handle my own objections, right? Which are my own projections. That was something that came through because I realized when you're sharing your products, your services, the things that you're most excited about, the moment you're speaking, you're automatically activating parts of yourself that potentially people can judge, people can object, people can create resistance, but that's your own projection, you see? So you're getting reflected back what's already within your field as someone mirroring it back to you as a judgment, as a criticism, as resistance, as conflict, as arguing, as disagreeing with you, as being your hater. They're just mirroring back the energy that was already there, which is for your growth. It's not even a bad thing. It's already for your growth, for your contrast, so you can decide what you want and really focus on what you truly want, right? So when you're speaking, you're already handling objections, which is your own projections. So I'm speaking to those parts of me that I can already feel are active in my field and can potentially manifest as someone commenting in an opposing manner to what I'm saying, right? Or disliking what I'm saying. So that's actually something I learned on my own that I realized, wow, so every time you're speaking, since you're always speaking to yourself, you're speaking to parts of yourself. So the more you engage or you become visible or you allow yourself to be seen to your own collective, right? Those people are just going to mirror any distortions within your field. And distortions are not a bad thing. It's just the limitations that we chose in order to expand through and realize our infinite intelligence, our infinite nature, right? So I thought I was doing wrong when I started speaking and I would get like all these different angles, not because I had people in front of me. Just by me thinking about it, I could already feel all those objections. So I thought, oh my God, what even say anything? Because I'm going to be attacked from all angles. And actually, it's a good thing because it creates content. It allows you to speak about topics that you you wouldn't have thought before or they were not on your radar screen until you activated one thought and that thought activates, like a ripple effect of other ideas. And then this stream of thoughts and ideas starts pouring into you. And the only thing you're doing is neutralizing everything. So you're handling the perceived objections, potential objections of people, understanding it's your own projections through neutralizing it in your own field, right? Because if you, I don't know, if you get charged up towards one side, you'll have the other side against you. Like it's just going to come to you. So my nature, and it has always been like this, is to neutralize everything. Like that's like what I do all the time, all the time. And I know to be in social media, what helps the algorithm move, it's actually having an opposing view, a contradicting view, right? But I'm like, that's why I had a lot of issues when I started my digital marketing trainings is how do I merge marketing with what I know to be true, with my own spiritual understanding, right? Until I found a mentor that actually bridges spirituality and marketing in such a good way that I'm like, oh my God, like this is beautiful. But even so, I felt, you know, this you have to be charged up in one point of view because that creates momentum, it creates flow, like you're directing, focusing energy, right? So automatically the opposing views create the charge that creates the friction for your movement. But what happens when someone like me that automatically understand that all perspectives are valid, and by valid I don't mean just a concept that you know that every perspective is valid in its own, like a true, complete acceptance of everything. So I have always been like this. I've never had a fixed point of view, identity. Like I could change thoughts, ideas, belief, identities, just like I could, change my clothes every day. That's how easy for me is and has been to let go of an idea, of a belief. So I could appear to be, quote unquote, unstable to someone just because yesterday I thought XYZ and today I think ABC. But in an infinite universe where everything is, you're just choosing which one serves you in the moment. So from that perspective is that I understood my reflective nature or being a mirror in terms of not having a fixed ideas. Like I would have friends come to me with problems and crying or this and that happen. And I'm like, I wouldn't be identified with the story or the character. And it would seem for them that I'm cold, that I don't give a shit, that whatever. But it wasn't that. It would be easy for me to see the futility of fixating into an idea when it causes suffering. That doesn't mean I didn't suffer or that I didn't went through pain, but in general. So I guess from another point of view, I am already charging up one side by allowing all the sides. Because someone who doesn't allow all the sides would object to all points of view having its own valid truth, right? Being its own truth in and of itself. So I guess from one point of view, I am still doing it. But from another point of view, I'm actually doing what I love doing, which is neutralizing perspectives and balancing paradoxes. Isn't it awesome that we live in a universe where anything and everything coexist, even if they are so apparently mutually exclusive, but they're not? Like, that's the paradox. So coming back to the comparison stuff, the way I neutralize it or work with that part of me is through the understanding of the value, because it always comes down to your self-worth. Where am I believing that by me being where I'm at, compared to somebody else is not enough. Where am I believing to not be enough? Why would the illusion of things and circumstances dictate that I am not enough? It comes down to your value. So it's a reminder to go back to what is true for you. So you're falling for the illusion of linearity. You're falling for the illusion of the continuity in 3D. But once you understand that you are that which you think you're not, you already are. All potentials, all probabilities. So what you're actually doing is creating the journey to get there, but it's not necessary in order to get there. It's just that we want to experience creation in its infinite ways of how that can become. And that's your life. That's your story. It's the story of remembering who you truly are.